Hey guys, welcome to our second installment in our weekly mailbag series for the Solid State Gamer. I'm your host, John Rivera, and I'm just gonna go through an acquisition that I made, purchase that I made on eBay, and it's for a title for review purposes for the Solid State Gamer. Yeah, this is it. Check it out, thesolidstategamer.wordpress.com. We got reviews, we've got videos, we also have a weekly podcast, the Solid State ROMcast, with yours truly. Hosting, as well as Matt Offwhite being our co-host, and occasionally we do have guests on the show. We do not have one slated for this one, but we will be talking about some current events, some interesting stories that we have recently broke on the Solid State Gamer website, so be sure to check that out when we shoot it, and then it should be up on the Shout Engine website by Friday of this week, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, to the crux of this video, I made an acquisition on eBay for the Nintendo Wii U launch title, Zombie U. And so basically this is a first-person zombie survival horror sort of experience for the Wii U, and it's intentionally made to use the Wii U gamepad. So here's the hoping. Fingers crossed. It's from Ubisoft, and as you guys have heard, if you guys have been listening to our episodes of the ROMcast, Ubisoft's been in a really weird spot lately. They've been just making some very poor decisions. You know, we talked about the whole Watch Dogs thing and the fallout that ensued with that, you know, the whole E3 graphics, and now there's a recent, story with one of the producers for Assassin's Creed, and some folks from Ubisoft proper saying that they don't want to go for 1080p for games. Well, makes sense. Most consoles in this generation, all the consoles in this generation are pretty much incapable of doing high definition visuals. 1080p, very well wrought environments and character entities and the like. And doing that at 60 frames per second at a resolution of 1080p, it's just not, the hardware is just not up to snuff across all platforms, Wii U included. I will say that the Wii U, at least, this is just prima facie, but I would say at least the Wii U has something going for it. It has its own sort of software identity. I've already looked at the lineup for the other consoles and stuff, and really, a lot of that stuff is kind of a carryover from the late generation games that we saw this past generation, 360, PS3, Wii. But most specifically, the 360 and the PS3, I looked at my library for both, and they're all first-person shooters. And I'm just like thinking to myself, well, that can't be my only interest. I go back to playing something on the Sega Saturn, Genesis, Master System, NES, Super Nintendo. I'm like, okay, well, I haven't been bitten by the bug. I'm not solely obsessed with first-person or third-person action shooters. Then what's the deal? Well, it seems to be that a lot of AAA development efforts are being dedicated and allocated toward the development of such titles. So, market's kind of saturated right now, as I'm sure you guys know, and it leaves companies with very little ability to make something fresh, because it's just being done over and over and over again. But that's a discussion for another day. So anyway, this is Zombie U. Not the best title I could think of giving this game. Dead London sounds like a good one. I mean, this game apparently takes place in the UK, from what I've read. And so here we have the disc, and let's see if I can ascertain the condition of the disc. There's a nice little fingerprint on it. Yeah. Aside from that fingerprint, the disc is in actually really good condition, which I would expect. And here's the manual documentation. A nice little advertisement for the Wii U version of Assassin's Creed 3. So we have... I can't stress enough how much of a proponent I am for physical documentation for a game, describing how it functions, how it works, you know, all the intricacies. Struggled on that. You guys have to forgive me. I worked a 10-hour shift at my job, and I haven't slept yet. So there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Zombie U for the Wii U. This game's been critically panned by most of the mainstream media guys, so we'll see how this game stacks up. You know, most first-generation games are pretty much the best first impression for a console in terms of its software identity and in terms of its overall potential. And so we'll see how this stacks up in the grand scheme of things. Looking forward to trying this game out and giving it a spin, especially since a lot of games nowadays for the Wii U at this point aren't really taking full advantage of the tablet controller, which I guess in my opinion, I would say that's kind of a shame. I mean, Nintendo spent all this money, R&D, on this innovative controller, which actually is really comfortable. I know you wouldn't expect someone like me who favors a Dreamcast controller to say that about the Wii U tablet controller, but it actually is a really comfortable controller. It feels really good. Actually, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Sega Game Gear. I get the same feeling when I hold that tablet controller. And I'm a huge fan of the Game Gear. I love the design of it. And to be fair, the tablet controller is not as heavy as the Game Gear. When you put in, you know, 6 AA batteries, the Game Gear feels like it's 10 pounds. The tablet controller does not suffer from that issue. Actually, it's quite comfortable. It's lightweight, but doesn't feel like it's gonna break in half. So I guess that's a good thing. So, but anyway, that pretty much does it for this stint for the weekly Mailbag series. But some things I wanted to kind of go over with you guys as like an addendum or kind of a postscript is, what's happening on the main website. We just broke a story about John Romero tweeting a couple days ago on his Twitter account about commemorating the 21st anniversary of the seminal game Doom, a game that pretty much not only solidified the genre, but pretty much paved the way for other games in that genre and permeated the industry and raised the bar of expectations in terms of overall game design for years to come. And pretty much the success of this game and the milestone that this game set in history is impossible to ignore. And I go into little detail about that in this story, but needless to say, it's an interesting read. You should check it out. It's not that long of a read. I try not to write huge news stories. I try to just give you the gist of it and give you some proper context historically if that's required. And here we're seeing some, you'd be better off looking at the main website proper, but I'm just kind of going through some snippets. Also, we broke a story on the GameCube controller adapter that's been, I guess, specifically made for the play of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. And a lot of people have been saying that there's been like a shortage on this adapter. Nintendo UK has gone out and said that there is no shortage, but we're just unable to meet demand. But for some reason, on the other side of the coin, they haven't released a timetable or a release date or any sort of time frame in which new shipments of this peripheral or this accessory, if you will hit store shelves and online retailers again. So still the whole Wii U GameCube controller adapter sort of shortage has not been, hasn't been solved. It's only been addressed. So, and addressed with kind of mixed results in my opinion. But that's a little recap of what's going on the site, and I'm going to start working on some more news coverage before I hit the hay and pretty much prepare for the next ROMcast, which, like I said, is going to be happening this Thursday, and we should have it up by Friday afternoon, so stay tuned for that. And with that, this is John Rivera signing off saying, hey guys, thank you guys for watching, and look forward to seeing you guys around on the Solid State Gamer, so take care.